back here in the Pauper League showcasing Azorius Affinity in two games where the deck does two different things. One where it's very aggressive, you can shut your opponent out right from the beginning, and another where you actually have to grind. You have to interact with your opponent, and you have to play very meticulously in terms of how you want to interact, the spells you want to let resolve. So I think this showcases the both extremes of the deck and where it can excel. Enjoy the games. Starting off game one here, we have a pretty keepable 7. We see a mountain pass from our opponent, which actually could be Burn. Burn tends to be a little slower, so we go Drum after a Synod to Synod, and we have a pretty good hand, honestly. All that glitters, including a Myr Enforcer and some draw. We see the Thermal Alchemist off our opponent. We play the Seat, and we actually pass. I want to Metallic Rebuke something, and a Ren's Resolve is pretty good. We want to slow our opponent down, and then we can start getting aggressive. I'm not necessarily in a rush. Burn is, again, the thermal version is relatively slow, so I'm going to Thoughtcast, play some lands, play an Ornithopter, play a Myr Enforcer from there, and then play the All That Glitters on my Ornithopter while they are tapped out. That is the key. I didn't want to like Moon Circuit and Of One Mind. No, get it on the Ornithopter, and that way now it is out of reach of burn spells, and I can grind them in the air at this point. Now, going for the swing, they're definitely taking a bunch of damage here. They even take the 4/4 worth of damage. I play out the Drum, play out the Circuit, and then play Of One Mind. I wanted to make them think that I had interaction. I could have obviously gotten 2 more damage in at that point, and now they're going to start throwing spells at our face. They, unfortunately for them, don't have enough to burn us out. We win the game. Let's go to game 2. It's mad. They're coming at us with a vengeance. They start off with the Seal of Fire, which is very relevant because a lot of times we want to put a All That Glitters on a O2 Ornithopter, and that is exactly what Seal of Fire is there for. They destroy one of our lands, or exile in this case, with the call into the cast into the fire, I should say, and I have a Thraben Inspector and a Gingerbrute attacking at them. Now, the Chain Lightning hits our Gingerbrute, and we're actually going to be losing a lot of our creatures this game to, spells themselves. So that's fine. That buys us some time. They play a Kessig, and we have a small little cute board. They Reckless Impulse, and they actually start finding some really relevant gas in terms of cards. They play land into a Bolt. They kill our Frogmite. This is actually slowing us down a really good amount. They're making a really good call here. Now, we go in for the swing. They're tapped out. I want my Moon Circuit out. I want to draw some cards. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Return the Thraben. And the Return Thraben is actually good because it's going to increase our artifact count enough as well. Play out the Frogmite. Next turn, I can play out a Myr Enforcer. They play out an insane board. Now, the problem is, again, it's so hard to put the All That Glitters on anything. I have to put it on the Myr Enforcer, or the Seal of Fire is going to kill everything else and I lose it. So that is my only way around this. The problem is that the Myr Enforcers just gets blocked to infinity at this point. They're going to find another Ren's Resolve, which is insane off the Synthesizer, and they're making the land drops, which is so tough. They keep finding spells and creatures and infinite blockers. Now I'm finding some draw, and I find a Blue Elemental Blast, which is great here. I could kill some creatures off here, but I actually want to try and kill the Kessig Flame Breather or anything else insane that they play. Like maybe they have a Destroy Target Artifact on my Myr Enforcer, and that's exactly what I want to protect it for. So on their turn, I go to counter one of their spells. I figure, you know what, this is my time to kill the Kessig Flame Breather. They end up having another one from hand. They bolt, they do their tap on tap thing. At this point, I don't really have anything. They have one card. I'm at essentially 4 life because they can tap the Thermal Alchemist and then Seal of Fire away. I draw some cards, find a Springleaf Drum, and essentially just accept the L here. Like, they're going to tap 3, Synthesizer, the Smash to Smithereens is the drop on this game. Let's see if we can't get them back on game 3. As much as a vengeance our opponent had, look at this greedy hand and tell me I can't win with a dream. I play the Ornithopter, play out a Thraben. I got 3 artifacts out slamming, and I'm ready. Now, Chain Lightning comes out. I actually get an All That Glitters on my Thraben Inspector, and that pretty much spells GG for our opponent. I'm not going to lie. At this point, they destroy one of our lands as well. The Blue Sword is very smartly picked, but again, we are just hitting them. We are hitting them there. At 7 life, they cannot do anything. Thermal Alchemist blocks for a turn, but hey, I got another one. Swing at them, and that's how quick the games can go. Let's go to match number 2. Now, in match number 2, this is another 3-game banger. We mulligan once, and we keep a 1-lander, which, I don't know, we'll just have to work with here, honestly. They play a Volatile Fjord and pass the turn. We play Gingerbrute, getting a little aggressive. This is probably going to be some type of Scred or Flicker or whatever. So not the most ideal. We're drawing a bunch of our Ancient Dens as well, which is going to end up mattering. And Thraben Inspector comes down. At least we have some late game card draw, which is something. But our opponent is going to find some good Magic cards, I will say. The Ponder is not great, being able to kind of search through their deck and find some relevant cards. I don't end up playing the Razortide Bridge here. Next turn, I can potentially get off like double Clue Token, but I want to get off the Thraben and hold up one Clue Token right now. So we get some damage in there at 15. They play the Augur Bolus, and guess what they find? A breath weapon, and everything on my battlefield is not a dragon, and then also 2 toughness. So honestly, this is the end of the game. I go in for a swing. They block 1. I'm like, maybe if I can rebuild off the Clue Token, if I draw something. They cycle for a snow-covered island. At this point, like, they play the breath weapon, and I'm actually so much in shock that I just decide, okay, let's gain the 3 life. Right, we won't Clue Token here. We at least get that as a piece of comeback there. And at this point, I'm going to hold up Metallic Rebuke and just try and do my best here. I don't counter the Augur Bolus. I might as well just counter the next thing they play. They have a Lorien Revealed. They don't play anything. They come in for the swing. I pass through my turn, and like, I'm going to try and draw some cards. I find a Thoughtcast. You know, I find a Myr Enforcer, not bad. I'm kind of rebuilding. The Thoughtcast is pretty nice. You could draw me into some gas. I find all that glitters too. That's pretty good. I Thoughtcast. And again, remember how I was saying that like the 1 blue source is going to really matter here? You notice how I'm trying to cast the Thoughtcast and a Metallic Rebuke at the same time? They scred me. That's not looking good at all. And if you're looking at my video yesterday talking about top 5 modern snow cards in modern, you're gonna remember that scred is pretty good. Both my board is wiped out. Scred to the Enforcer, bolt to the Gingerbrute. I draw a bunch of cards, and unfortunately, Springleaf Drum is not a creature. I have a bunch of creatures, a bunch of interaction, and an all that glitters. Nothing that I can cast. Only 1 blue source. Mana is just not on my side. They play the Azure Fleet Admiral, gaining the Monarchy. Play the Tolarian Terror. This is GG. They're drawing cards at this point. They have an insane board. I don't even draw a creature to slam all that glitters and block onto. Let's just go to game 2. We can break. Starting off game number 2, I remember that our opponent grinded us out, but I can still present them with a pretty fast start with some tap lands too. So play out the Springleaf Drum, power out a Frogmite, and I'm drawing some cards. It's insane. Look at all this interaction that I got. Now, play the All That Glitters. I have the turn aside available, and my opponent does not have the Spell Pierce or the Hydroblast or what, or like, you know, the Red Elemental Blast available on their side. So we're doing some damage, we're playing some lands, we're hitting them for spells. I have the Metallic Rebuke at the ready with the Breath Weapon. Hit that right now because my Frogmite needs to swing through to present some crazy damage. Now, obviously this is 1 less damage. They could be at 1 right now, but that's not really relevant. They are literally dead here. Let's go to game 3. See how fast that last game was? I told y'all I could bring the heat. Now I keep a 1-lander here, but I have the turn aside of the Metallic Rebuke, which I think ultimately is going to work. Now, the Plains draw is actually insane. So I'm going to start playing out my board, especially with the Moon Circuit Hacker. The Ornithopter is just good value to play out. And they brainstorm, they find a snow-covered island, and they're going to pass from there. That's all fine. I'm going to play out a Frogmite and keep up the turn aside. I'm not going to get super greedy with an All That Glitters. I don't want to get got by, you know, like a Spell Pierce or just really much of anything at this point. I can play it safe. I can force them to play into me, even though I'm kind of the one on the back foot here. But I have some lands, I have some cards, I have some interaction spells. That's what's important here, right? So I'm going to go in for the attack, confirm my damage, draw some cards. I'm going to drop the land because I already played a land per turn this turn. I'm going to play in All That Glitters and honestly just let them counter it. This is great, right? This is exactly what I want them to do. They counterspell it. I'm not going to turn aside here. I'm going to wait. They even Pyroblast it. See, if I went to turn aside now, I'm going to hit that, because that's desperation, not saving the Pyroblast. I see that's a very aggressive move on their side. I find an All That Glitters, put it on that, and now my Metallic Rebuke is just going to save the day. This is why I didn't attack first. I have my Frogmite, my Gingerbrute to tap out as well. Play the All That Glitters, go in for the swing. I'm hitting them for 9 damage. They're at 2. I'm going to draw another Inspector, drop the Inspector. Opponent, what do you got for me? You have to answer the Thopter right here, right now. Game is over because you can't. Azorius Affinity comes through again.